Take a look. Those are his top 10 there. Let's keep the conversation moving. I'll start with you first, Freddie. Where do you really believe Marcus Mariota will go? I know he says to the Jets, but it's a discussion, a debate. It could be somewhere else.
I don't think the Jets are going to take him at number 6.
All right.
So I could see them leveraging that pick because Philadelphia, in my opinion, they're hell-bent on trying to get this guy. Chip Kelly believes in his system. He believes that quarterback is the best fit for his system. If he has a chance, in my opinion, to trade up to that 6th pick, the Jets are going to say, okay, well, how much is it going to cost? How much is it worth to you to get the guy that you want? Because Tennessee, Mel Kiper Jr. made the point. They think Zach Mettenberger is more of a better fit for their offense. Ken Whisenhunt, the head coach, has been a pretty good guy with quarterbacks. I thought Zach Mettenberger played pretty well before he got injured last year. Not enough of a sample size. We know Jacksonville's not going to take him. Blake Bortles is already there. Oakland, I like Derek Carr as a quarterback. Washington has enough quarterback problems. They don't need to draft another quarterback and bring him to that situation. So now the New York Jets, and they even said they're trying to find a quality journeyman or a veteran to push Geno Smith. So you're not going to bring in a Marcus Mariota to push him. That'll push him out the door. So if the Eagles trade up to number 6, that's where he's going to go, in my opinion. They can trade with the Jets. And if he doesn't go, if the Jets stay pat, I don't think they take a quarterback. He may fall. Maybe to Philadelphia 20, because Atlanta's not taking him at 8. Chicago paid Jay Cutler all that money. They're not going to bring that guy in. The Giants have Eli Manning. Maybe St. Louis potentially at 10, but they may want to bring Bradford back. But he could fall to the Eagles. But at number 6, if the Jets take him or they leverage that pick,
what about
the Eagles will trade in.
At 12? I mean,
they got Johnny Manziel. They're not bringing Johnny Manziel's already there. I know none of them are proven, but with Cleveland, anything goes. Who knows? Jimmy Haslam, the owner, he doesn't seem to be wrapped too tight when it comes to situations like this. Oh yeah, bring him in case Johnny Manziel doesn't work out. But I don't think they'll do that.
Don't you think? You mentioned I had to be, bring Chicago back into the conversation, but don't you think that'd be a perfect place for them with all the uncertainty floating around Jay Cutler?
But 7 years, $126 million, and not getting rid of him anytime soon.
Yeah. But what we said next year, he may be gone. We just said yesterday. We said yesterday he has an 8-game sample. If you get,
then you got that dead cap money that you still have to think about with Jay Cutler. And I know it's a rookie salary cap with Marcus Mariota. That's still going to be a chunk of change. You have to pay him. And now you're bringing that guy to a distracted situation with a new head coach, a quarterback that nobody seems to like. I don't think the Chicago Bears would make that jump to bring Marcus Mariota to their football team.
So you think if Cutler struggles again this year, and it's basically does with him, keep him?
Well, Cutler, I think
get rid of him after.
I think this is this is a showdown here for Jay Cutler. If he doesn't get it done, then he's going to be gone.
But you have nothing in place in case you do go that route. And Mariota may be somebody perfect just to have in the wing, just in case, hey, if we have to go a whole nother quarterback direction, we have someone in place right now that we can begin to build around with a new coach.
Well,
I think it's a better situation than
Chris.
Do you think Mariota has to be in a certain system? Because the Jets, should they be sold on Geno Smith at this point, to the point where you won't draft a promising guy like Mariota?
I think Mariota would be a good quarterback in any system. Really? I don't think he's just a system guy.
That's interesting that you say that.
I think I look at his makeup. He has the ability to make those throws. He has the ability to get out of the pocket. He has the moxie, in my opinion, that he's not going to get rattled in the pocket. I know he didn't play well against Ohio State at times, but Ohio State's defense in that running game put a lot of pressure on him, and they made him a one-handed quarterback.
But Freddie, by his own admission, even at the Combine, he said he's not the traditional drawback passer. He can learn, but you think he'll work it in.
Well, looking in the NFL, there are a lot of spread option not systems, but a lot of principles that teams are using when they run that draw situation with their quarterbacks. You can put that kind of thing in to maximize his ability, but I think he's going to be a better pocket passer than people are going to give him credit for because of the fact that he doesn't just look to escape out of the pocket anytime pressure gets to him. He hangs around and tries to make a play, and then at the last second, then he'll make a play with his feet.
So you think the Jets should take him at 6?
I think the Jets should.
Yeah,
you got a brand new coaching staff. Well, nothing against Geno Smith, but you know what? You may have gotten your ceiling with Geno Smith. And Todd Bowles and the new general manager, they're not beholden to him. They didn't draft Geno Smith.
Yeah.
So if you're going to start over there. And Geno Smith is not counting a lot of money against your salary cap in New York.
And that's what I was going to ask you from a business standpoint, not necessarily a football standpoint, is Mariota's name sexy enough to get Geno out of there if he doesn't produce?
if you produce on the field, that's all the sexy I need.
That's all the sexy I need. Because you got to give Geno a chance to do his thing. But if he's not doing it,
you don't have to do anything.
Giving him 2 years.
Seriously.
I'm not saying he's a bust and he can't do it. But like you said, Bowles, they aren't beholden to Geno Smith.
Right. Okay, so Chris, I asked you, what's your take?
Well, I agree with Freddie in that I think Philadelphia is going to find a way to get up to 6 and get Mariota. But I was interested. If I'm the Jet, because when you said you don't think the Jets aren't taking Mariota, I just feel like they shouldn't be so tied to Geno Smith that they won't take Mariota. If they like him, and I'm not so sure he can be a great or very good quarterback in any system. I'm still not sure. When's the last time he called plays?
Yeah.
High school? So I have my own questions. I just wanted to get your take. If you feel he's that good, though, I think the Jets should take him if they're sold that he's going to be a really good quarterback, because I don't know if Geno will.
Are we caught up in this situation with him going to Philly strictly because Chip Kelly's there? Or?
Of course.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Okay, all right.
And look, Chip Kelly is clearly, or at least it appears that he's trying to put in the Oregon system.
Right.
Who better to do it than Marcus Mariota?
But he can't. The feasibility of him doing that seems like
getting up to 6.
Yeah, trading up to get to 6.
Freddie said he can make it happen.
It seems impossible.
I think the Jets are going to look at it like, all right, show me what you got.
What do you have to
What
give?
is it worth to you? If you really want this guy, okay, if you're going to mortgage, quote unquote, half of your farm because you believe in this guy, well, we're going to get half of that farm. We're going to get half of that. And if you don't want to give us half of the farm, all right, you move on.
All right, speaking of trading and perhaps best fits, let's talk about something that just came down. According to the Chicago Tribune, one of the NFL source said the Bears are now shopping Brandon Marshall with the idea of moving him. Another source said the belief that the team is taking calls in regards to Brandon Marshall. Again, trades cannot be finalized until 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. It's not known exactly what the Bears are seeking in exchange for Marshall, who turns 31 at the end of the month, but it's certain it's not going to be the 2 third-round picks that they sent to the Dolphins in exchange for him, as Freddie is in agreement with. One source said the Bears potentially could move Marshall for a mid-round pick. So Freddie, let's talk about best fits. Where do you believe Brandon Marshall could end up if he doesn't stay with the Bears?
Doesn't seem fair he's being shopped and Jay Cutler isn't.
Well, it's not. That's criminal. It's criminal. It's criminal. It's not fair. It's criminal.
Wow. Business being never personal.
Relationship with John Fox.
And no disrespect, but disrespect.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your take?
I think Brandon Marshall will fit anywhere because he still has that number one receiver mentality.
Yes.
I don't think Houston will do that because they love holding on to those mid-round picks. Bill O'Brien is a disciple of Bill Belichick. He's not giving away a 4th-round pick for Brandon Marshall. But if you're the Oakland Raiders and you got Derek Carr as a young quarterback, you get a guy like that's not afraid to tell you what time it is, but he's going to tell you in a way that, okay, this is benefiting the football team. And Derek Carr is going to be more agreeable to any suggestion that Brandon Marshall. You're trying to build something in Oakland. I think they're going to make a pitch for a guy like DeMarco Murray. They had that great salary cap space, over $53 million. Now you don't have to worry about that wrecking that salary cap space, and you bring in a receiver that's going to make your football team better, because Brandon Marshall, I still think he has 2 or 3 terrific years left, the ball in the NFL. But it's not going to cost you higher than a 2nd-round pick. A 3rd or 4th-round pick, only one of those should do the trick. I think Oakland could be a really good landing spot.
It's unfortunate that they're even having this conversation about him, and it's still not clear whether or not they're considering releasing him or if they're going to lock him up. But it has a lot to do with who's under center, because you can't just give him the ball. So it's unfair that this is even a conversation. Like I said, criminal. But where do you believe he's a good fit?
I think any team that needs a receiver, I'd love to get my hands on Brandon Marshall. I think about New England, and I think about the way they brought in Randy Moss, who's had his issues.
Maybe the Colts
had a great year.
Need a guy like that.
The Colts, Seattle. They don't have a great receiving core.
You took my 2 teams.
That's
what I was going to say.
I mean, and even though they don't have a quarterback, the New York Jets need a number 1 receiver. Eric Decker, God bless him, is not the number 1 receiver.
Right.
He's better if you bring in Brandon Marshall. So, I think those are. Man, I'd love to see him in Seattle or New England.
See, you took those are 2 teams I was going to mention, because what we're looking for, that's why I was asking earlier, what do they want in return? And if you're, from what you're saying and what you believe, if they're going for, 3rd-round draft picks, that makes it available for teams like New England and Seattle, who basically need a game changer on the offensive end to do this. So why can't we find him there? Because trust me, you put a Brandon Marshall with that Seattle team, it changes everything. If you put him on New England, it changes everything. So that I was looking at those two teams specifically for where go for it. Yeah. Just get there.
Here's another thing, Kansas City. They didn't have one wide receiver catch a touchdown.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
J.J. Watt had more TD catches than any Kansas City wide receiver. Alex Smith, I think, is he's not a terrific quarterback, but he's more than passable. But give him somebody that can press the defense down the field. And Brandon Marshall, in my opinion, can still do that from the middle of the field to the sideline.
Is there room for him in a place like Atlanta?
They have too many receivers.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is there room?
But they're losing Harry Douglas.
That's what I'm asking. Is there room? Because he changes a lot of that. And that may take them from like out, in a wild card game to maybe.
But the receiver's not their problem.
Yeah, they have too much of the same guy.
I'm trying to address different issues.
Yeah.
I got that, but I'm saying once again, I think he's a game changer, and he changed the.
Okay, so listen.
And they built around receivers.
Wait, hold on. Let's time out. The key date for us to keep in mind with Brandon Marshall is Thursday, March 12th. That is when his base salary of $7.5 million for 2015 is fully guaranteed. So that is when they more than likely could make a decision on whether or not they want to keep him. We all agree he still has a lot left in the tank, do we
Absolutely.
not?
Yes.
As a number one guy too, right?
As a number one guy.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
And Kerry, understand, being in Chicago, this conversation started long before. They started having these conversations the minute he kind of called out the team in the locker room in the middle of the season. That's when the conversation started, like, we don't know how much longer he's going to be here.
Okay. Well, that was fair. He a bit of a rabble-rouser, so to speak.
Well, we saw what happened to the last rabble-rouser.
That's why he
Shady McCoy. What happened?
That's why he won't be going to Philly.
You don't see Chip taking him. He will not, we can say he won't. Cut to at Philly. All right. Tomorrow, again, we have Sheryl Sandberg on the show. I want to say thank you, Scoop Jackson, Chris Broussard, and obviously Freddie Coleman. I don't care if I call him Freddie Jackson. I do, but you have a problem with that. I don't know why.
I'm just
He's
saying.
a singer.
Sing?
He can sing. You want to sing us to the end of the show?
We do not need to do that to the
We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2.